This is the Speakeasy podcast where we talk about the behind the scenes of what it is to be the successfully paid speaker and author. And I am your host, Altovise Pelzer, the voice coach, professional speaker, certified life coach, Amazon bestselling author, podcaster, and founder of the World Voice League, a community of speakers and entrepreneurs coming together to impact social change. Now, I am so super excited that I probably just ran through that in record time, because I'm so excited about today's topic. So I need you guys to weigh in on this topic. I need your responses. I need your comments. I need your intellect on this here thing, simply because, guys, they're coming for our necks right now. No, you got to understand, we are in an era where access has been granted. You have opportunities. Like before, where they said, oh, well, we didn't have the opportunity to build a business. We didn't have an opportunity to publish a book. Guys, you have absolutely no excuse. You can publish a book. You can start a business. You can work from home. Like, there's literally so many different options out there now. It's an excuse if you say that you can't do something. But I'll come back to that. So the topic that I'm talking about for today is this whole battle and war between Steven Spielberg and Netflix. Steven Spielberg feels that the streaming films like Netflix and things that they do should be banned or blocked from the Oscars. Now, I'm going to tell you why this touched me, and I know it touches you as our audience so deeply, because just last week, I was telling you guys about a book called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, who Netflix made it into a movie. They didn't make it into a movie. They had someone else make it into a movie. But it was a Netflix original. It was on Netflix. Netflix has provided a platform for the everyday person, or not so everyday, because most of the people on there are not really your average people, right? But it has created a platform for people to be able to have their voice heard. Are you seeing where I'm getting at right now? It has. It literally has. If you look at Netflix, there are so many different actors, comedians, authors who are going to Netflix with their ideas, with their creativity, and they're getting an opportunity that if they would have went up to someone like, quote unquote, Mr. Steven Spielberg, they would not have gotten the same amount of influence. They would not have gotten, matter of fact, most people, let's be honest, if they went up to Steven Spielberg, you would probably be arrested. But or if you attempted to get have a conversation with him about him about him creating and taking your book, your baby, and making it into a movie, you would possibly most likely get laughed out of the office. Not to say that your book idea isn't grand. Not to say that your book idea can't help people. But what I am saying is that your book idea would literally get pushed to the side along with all the rest. It would get pushed to the side. Your movie idea, your season, your show, whatever it is, now more than ever, we are in a time where anybody can be Oprah. Now, somebody somewhere is going to be mad that I said that. And they're going to look at me as if I'm crazy. And it's not that I'm crazy, not at all. It's just that I need you guys to understand that we really do have some great opportunities that have opened up here. So let's get this straight. So a book that most of you probably have never even heard, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, that author can sit down with somebody, that producer and director, and they say, you know what, we think this should be a movie. All right, we pitch it to Netflix, and Netflix says, okay, here's your budget, and they go with it. But this is the other thing. You get to now say that your book inspired a movie that was on the same platform as Bright, which we know was the movie from Will Smith. We know that several other highly, highly well-known authors, speakers, and comedians have gone the Netflix route. Why? Again, we are in a day and age where opportunities are endless. And the fact that you can go and have your book made into a movie or made into a sitcom, and whereas before that was like a dream's dream. Like that was way off from reality. Here it is. The door is wide open. So do you feel as though Steven has every right to be upset? Of course, I can understand his reason for being upset. I can understand his reason for being a little sour. I get that. But we have to understand that, again, technology is always changing. We're always evolving. And so in an era where we are always evolving, why continuously put yourself in a position to be on the opposite end of the spectrum? Now, don't get me wrong. Again, Steven Spielberg is a name above names when it comes to movies and what he has done in the industry. But hello, look at what, again, if we look at the model, Amazon for authors, what did they do? They said, you know what, authors, we want to put the power back in your hands. So we're going to give you the opportunity to publish your own books. You don't need to buy thousands of copies and have them sitting in your garage for 90 years. You don't have to buy 500 copies and have them sitting in your attic. Some of y'all don't even have an attic or know what an attic is. But you don't have to have 500 copies sitting in your attic because you had to buy them from the publishing company. It gave you freedom. It also opened opportunities for other people to be able to create their own publishing companies and to be able to model it after what Amazon did. It opened up opportunities. Netflix has done the same thing. Now, granted, Netflix, you wish it was like your rich uncle that you could go to and say, hey, I have an idea. Let me sit down with you. That's kind of like where I guess Spielberg is seeing it like, that's not really fair. But in all actuality, how isn't it fair? When you see that there's something broken in the system and you decide that you're going to change it, you're always going to come up against people who say, but I like the system the way it was. Now, granted, if you look at some of the Netflix movies, some of them, you kind of go way left, and I don't know what's going on with you, Netflix. Please don't suspend my account or anything like that. I don't know what's going on with you, Netflix, on some of the movie titles. But again, I see there's a need. There's a need for more people to be able to have their voice heard. I see the need. I see it. Not only do I see the need for people to have their voice heard, but now we're in the position to be able to front them the money to make it a reality. Now, are they giving everybody an opportunity? No. But I've seen more cooking shows come on. Again, I've seen more of the top name, top industry, when it comes to comedians, when it comes to actors and actresses, now when it comes to some of these authors that are coming over to be able to have their story changed into a movie or into a series, or, I mean, again, opportunities. So again, like I said, if we look at it from the speaker and author perspective, why wouldn't we want a Netflix in the world? Like, and that's more opportunities for us. I think there was maybe an episode I did months ago, and I was talking about how there was one person who their book was created into a video game. Like, we have so many opportunities as authors, as writers, to have our creativity all out into the world. And not only that, to be paid for it. Because guess what? Many of us have been doing things where we've been writing, we've been speaking, we've been doing things for free. But here we have an opportunity to really get paid for it. That part. Who can be mad about that? No one. No one ever can be mad about that. So I see you guys coming in. Let me know, what are your thoughts on Steven Spielberg saying, I think Netflix should be banned from the Oscars, that they're that their streaming videos, their streaming movies should be banned from the Oscars. Now, granted, Netflix, again, has come out with some really great movies. They have. We cannot shade them and say that they have not given opportunities. And like I said, you saw some celebrities go over. We saw the Adam Sandlers go over, and we saw Kevin Hart just came out with the show for Black History Month. We saw, all of these other people. Again, even when we look at Kevin Hart, what else did Kevin Hart do? He went with doing shows on YouTube. Why? The opportunity is there now. You can't say that there's not an opportunity for you. Guess what? You have live streaming. You can literally go live and create a platform. You can have your own weekly show, daily show. You can do whatever it is. Like, you can give your own opinions on things. You can be a tester. There's a little boy on YouTube who just tests toys. Like, that's what he does. And he gets paid to do it. Companies send him toys to be able to test it on his YouTube channel. Now, is it going to take time? Yeah. And I think that's where part of the negative mindset and the negative connotation is coming from, because we feel as though if people aren't putting in the time in order for them to access this great success. But the time has been put in. We forget that many times before someone has written a book, they've been trying to write a book for 6, 7, 8 years. I know for me personally, I was writing my first book for 8 years. So when I published the first book, it wasn't that it was, I was just new to it. No, it was new to that first book being published. But I wasn't new to writing. I've been writing since middle school. I often tell my clients, you got to remember that your day one of starting your business is not your day one. It's the business's day one. When you decided you were going to become the professional speaker, that wasn't your day one. That was the business's day one. Your day one was the first time that you got up in front of anybody and spoke. So we got to understand that people have put in the time, and we can't look at it as, no, maybe they didn't put in enough time for it. Maybe they should do this. Maybe, no. That's not it at all. So now the several things that I thought about when it came to understanding and looking at this from the speaker and author perspective. Number one is that people will always criticize what you do. When they see that there is a popularity in something, there's always going to be somebody that criticizes it. Now, if Netflix decided that today or tomorrow, they said, you know what, we quit. We're not doing it anymore. We're tired of all the negativity. We're tired of all the naysayers. No, you keep talking bad about us. Why? What would be the point? There is always going to be negative criticism, but guess what? There's always going to be people that are positively backing you and pushing you. Don't think, and this is for anybody, no matter what level you are when it comes to your particular journey as being the successfully paid speaker or author, there are always going to be somebody that's going to say, it shouldn't be done that way. Well, we don't like the way they're doing it. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to invest over there. Now, funny thing would be is if Steven Spielberg has a Netflix account. Now, that would be hilarious. But I digress. That would be hilarious. It's a platform, guys. It's an opportunity. Amazon, it's a platform. It's an opportunity. That's what it is. So people will always criticize what you do. you still got to push past it. You still got to go ahead, because every time you say yes to your purpose and your passion, you're opening up an opportunity for somebody else. So if Netflix says, I quit, oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, Steven Spielberg doesn't like us. If they go and shut it down today or tomorrow, how many other people would have the opportunity to make their book into a movie? How many other people would have their opportunity to do their comedy special and all of these other things? Many wouldn't. So we got to go back and say, okay, we got to be thankful for the platforms that are opening up. We have to be. We do. So that was number one, is that people will always criticize. You got to learn how to move past it. Yes, sometimes it hurts. Yes, sometimes it's going to be an uphill battle. There will be moments where you have to really push, I mean, really push, in order for you to see some success happen. And it's crazy. Exactly. And Michael just said it in the comments. Netflix changed the game for comedians. Bye-bye HBO. Netflix changed the game. They did. Most definitely. And he said, I think Spielberg is like frat hazing. Yes. Okay, so he said Spielberg is like frat hazing. He said he feels as though he had to go through some things to get to where he is, and that Netflix is kind of like, making it easy for people. And we talked about that, like that they're making it easier for people. Well, it's not, I mean, you still go through the same things. They still have an uphill battle. They still are battling against some amazing, and this is the thing, they're still battling against some amazing other movies that may have bigger budgets, that may have more successful actors and actresses. They are still battling up against shows that have been running for years and years, that have a huge following. So, I mean, it's that's what it is. That's what the battle is. That's where we're at. But it's different to say they shouldn't be able to compete with us because they didn't do it the way we did it. What? We got to be careful about how we put that out there, Steven. We got to be careful how we put that out there, Steven. Because just because they did it a different way does not mean that it doesn't have some type of value, especially in the industry that we're in. That takes us to number 2. If you have not noticed, self-service wins. Putting the customer first wins. And so we've seen in the last 2-3 years, several businesses and companies, big name brands, go bye-bye, slowly but surely. And I think that that's another thing that kind of, he feels like, well, this is going to take away from the other directors who have been doing this for years. And it's not. You are Steven Spielberg. Like, there's nobody that can take that away from you. There's no mini Steven coming up to like kind of cast a shadow over who you are. You are Steven Spielberg. We're not taking it from you. But the opportunity is out there to do some amazing things. Why not link up? Or if you see that this is something that's working, how can you make it work for you? That's what Amazon does. Is, okay, I see this is working. So how do I make it work for me? Case in point, Amazon went and bought an online grocery store before they even started doing meal kits, before they even started doing the groceries online. They went and bought Whole Foods before they start talking about going ahead and opening up supermarkets. They go and they do the research and say, how can I make this work for me? Let me see what I can do. And I keep saying Amazon as if Amazon is not Jeff Bezos, but you know who I was talking about. So how do I make this work for me? So is that something that Steven needs to be asking himself? Instead of saying that, no, I think they should be banned. How do you make it work for you? What is it that you could be doing to help empower some other people who want to make their own movies and things of that nature? That part. Again, this is my personal opinion. You may feel differently, but when looking at it from an author and speaker perspective, it does seem kind of shady, Steven. Sorry. It kind of seems like you're kind of having a temper tantrum. And Michael said, when your competition is talking about you, that means you're starting to be effective. You got to understand that. Definitely. Now, this is the thing. It takes me to number 3. You ready for number 3? Oh my goodness. It takes me to number 3 because number 3 is you get more flies. What's the saying? With honey than vinegar? Guys, Netflix opened up its arms and said, I want to partner with you. I want to give you a platform. So, of course, several different people are going to come over there and say, oh yeah, of course I'm going over to Netflix. Of course I'm going to go and do a program with them. Of course I'm going to do this and do that. There's actually several shows that are over there. The Last OG, there are movies again, many different movies. So you got to have this understanding of Netflix said, we have the finances, you have the creativity, let's partner up. That speaks volumes. We have the finances, you have the creativity, let's partner up and let's see what we can do with that. Now, again, you may come across some stuff on Netflix that just utterly is not your taste, it's not your thing. But there's something on there for everyone, and that's why they created the platform. There's something for everybody. And so why would I hold back the opportunities? No, they said arms wide open, let's do this. What is it that you need? Shoot, you know what? I may just pitch something to Netflix. While we talking about it, I just might pitch something to Netflix. Y'all, listen, it'll be the Speakeasy Podcast Show live. What? The whole, listen, come on. Simply because we have an opportunity. We've spent too many years where we didn't have an opportunity. We've spent too many years where we couldn't do what we wanted to do. Guess what, guys? There's no more excuses. None. No more excuses. But you do have an opportunity to be able to do something great. And that's every single day that you open up your eyes and get up out your bed. You have an opportunity to influence and impact the world by having your voice heard. I'm so thankful for opportunities like Amazon. It was Create Space, now it's KDP, and Netflix. And I mean, even when it comes to podcasting, I've been podcasting now for about 2 years now. 2 years. It'll be 2 years, I think, in June. And again, it's an opportunity that beforehand would have cost me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to even get started. But I got started. And now what's going on? Everybody and their mama, even Facebook got a podcast, okay? Everybody and their mama got a podcast. No. But you do have to understand that, again, guys, the opportunities are there. There's somebody who's waiting specifically for your voice. They're waiting for your story. They're waiting for your message. They're waiting for your movie. They're waiting for your video game. They're waiting for whatever it is that you have. Don't neglect how powerful your voice is. Don't neglect how creative you are, how amazing the ideas you have are. Because guess what? There's other people that may say that they're not really worth it. And I'm going to even tell you, I'm going to tell you what Steven said, which is why it sparked this whole episode. Is first of all, we know that Roma swept the Oscars, and that really sparked some debates and some conversations and all of that. But he called it artistically meritless garbage. Artistically meritless garbage. That was somebody's work. That was somebody's dream. That was somebody's creativity. That was somebody's long hours. that they put in to have that created, and you called it artistically meritless garbage. As someone who is always creating content and always creating things, as someone who's always writing and doing things for my client, and seeing all different types of people come up with these amazingly creative ideas, for someone to say that somebody's art, somebody's work, somebody's word, somebody's movie, their book, anything is artistically meritless garbage simply because you don't agree with the platform that they're on? Yeah, that sounds like you're a bit sour. Steven, you need to get it together. There is no way, shape or form, no way that you could really see yourself as the icon that we see you as and give a response like that to somebody's hard work. Regardless of whatever platform it's on, it's still somebody's work, somebody's art. Artistically meritless garbage. Crazy. But this is the time that we're in. You start to see the real side of people when they're hurt. And I get it. Again, they didn't have to put in as much work as he had to put in. I get it. They did not have to put in as many years. I understand. But that went a little bit far. Now, you may think different, but as someone who is a writer, someone who is a speaker, someone who loves music and dance, art is art. And I appreciate it no matter what spectrum it comes from. Why? Because art is art. And I would think that someone who had been in the industry for as long as he has would feel the same way. But I guess he doesn't. That's interesting. But art is art. Don't allow anybody to second guess what you've done. That's an accomplishment. And to have somebody say something like that, that is, oh, man. Could you imagine how people felt with him saying that? That they shouldn't be allowed at the Oscars because their movie's on Netflix. I don't know about y'all, but I'm about to be a year older tomorrow. And I know when I was younger, we talked about the Chitlin Circuit. And the Chitlin Circuit was African-American communities supporting our own. The Chitlin Circuit was, you go into the local nightclubs to do your music, or you go into the local comedy clubs to do your work. I remember, and I see the work that they had to put in. And I even remember when they said about Tyler Perry that Tyler Perry was only going to be famous in the Chitlin Circuit. Stop underestimating people because of your level of understanding. I remember that. I remember the show that he did. Matter of fact, it was Why Did We Get Married? It was the play. And he got up after the play and talked about how, they told him he would only be able to get, sales from the Chitlin Circuit. And he would only get people coming to his shows because of the Chitlin Circuit. And he would never go mainstream. It's crazy, right? That we're still going through the same scenario. We have to understand that, again, there's going to be somebody that does not like it because they didn't like the way that we did it. But if the way that we're doing it works, got to go with it. When it comes to art, man, I love art. So I was really taken aback that he would say something like that. Yeah, not when people have put their all. They've put in blood, sweat, and tears to make things happen. And, you know, maybe Netflix wasn't the first opportunity or the first person that they went out to, or that wasn't the first company they went to. Maybe they went to about 50 different companies before they got to Netflix, and Netflix said yes. And for you to just bash them, gotta be careful, guys. I want to say to you, speakers, authors, speakeasy podcast listeners, don't quit. I don't care if it's Steven Spielberg saying it. I don't care if it's your mama saying it. Don't quit. Don't allow anybody to tell you otherwise, that you cannot be great. Don't allow anybody to tell you that you cannot do great things, that you cannot make things happen. Don't allow anybody to tell you that. Shut them down. Keep pushing and make it work. That part. So that's what I have for y'all guys today. But that can you see how passionate I was about that particular topic? Because that right there, that burned in a way like no other. It did. But this is where we are. We got to do better. It's like I said, it's one thing to say you don't like something because of the platform. That's fine. But to go as far as to ban them because you don't like them, I won't even talk to y'all about what that reminds me of. But thank you for joining for this episode of the Speakeasy Podcast. Guys, you know, it's all about you learning to move and be your best version of you, guys. Be your best version of you. Whatever that means for you, go out and be the best version of you, because there is only one you and nobody can do it better than you can. So I am your host, Altovise Pelzer, the voice coach, professional speaker, certified life coach, Amazon bestselling author, and podcaster. Guys, I want to know how this episode resonated with you. I want to know. bit.ly/Speakeasy Podcast Show. Go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you thought that everything I was saying was hogwash, by all means, put it in the review. If you thought that, you know what? She's talking good right there. Let me give her a fist bump. Let me give her a high five. By all means, go and put it over in the reviews. bit.ly/Speakeasy Podcast Show and leave a review on iTunes or on Spreaker. With that being said, I am your host, Altovise Pelzer, the voice coach, professional speaker, certified life coach, Amazon bestselling author and podcaster, and founder of the World Voice League, community of speakers and entrepreneurs coming together to impact social change. I am excited, guys. Woo! Man, I was on fire with that one. But by all means, I am looking forward to seeing you guys. Don't forget to press it out. See ya.